Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for joining me for a pickups rummage today. In case this is your first time catching one of these, long story short, I keep my online pickups from eBay, ComC, etc. in these cheese boxes until I have a chance to pick them out, at which point I sort of put them into my organized, cataloged, inventoried collection, so to speak. So today we're going to rummage for about 10 minutes, joined of course by my one-of-a-kind, hole-punched 1958 Topps All-Star Mickey Mantle, which I grabbed at the last card show that I was able to attend. We're going to start with our first card, which is a modern Mookie Betts, and the lighting in here is a little bit bright for some of this shine today. In fact, let me take this out of its top loader. This is from Topps Heritage last year, and it is a blue speckle Dodgers card, which is a great team color match. These aren't especially tough, not serial numbered, nothing like that. But they're not really plentiful either, and I just think they're cool, fun cards. You can get them for a couple bucks. There's your really dark back, true to the original 75s in some cases. But yeah, beautiful, shiny Mookie. Certainly one of many Betts cards that I have waiting in this cheese box. And in fact, during this upcoming baseball season, I am hoping to get to a countdown here on the channel of my top 50 Mookie Betts cards. Here's a fun one from the late 90s, Topps Tech. This is a Pedro Martinez. This is a very divisive set among collectors. This came out, I think, around 97, somewhere thereabouts. And basically the whole set is just tons of different parallels, dozens and dozens, all different rarity levels. And basically this was the end of being able to be a completist as a player collector when this set came out. But I don't get too worried about that. I try to just enjoy nice looking cards. And this is one that I was able to grab on eBay for just $1 or $2 shipped. Like I said, there are a million different patterns. This is basically pattern 52. I'm not sure if it comes across here, but this is card number 41. And then very faintly below it, there's a sticker indicating that it is pattern number 52. So that just shows you how many different variations of this card exist. Topps really went overboard, but love my acetate cardboard, and that combined with the rainbow shine. Just a really cool Pedro. And of course, it doesn't hurt that this card comes from the beginning of his era of really just Koufax-like domination that I would say began in like 97 through maybe 2003. So happy to see that Pedro. This next one is just kind of a funny ongoing card that I keep picking up additional copies of. It's a player that I got into collecting last year, Vladimir Balentien, largely because he's the single-season Nippon Professional Baseball home run leader. And so his cards, they're dirt cheap because no one knows who he is. No one really cares about him. So I've been grabbing copies of his rookie card from 2008 Topps, and specifically the Topps Black Parallel. So he did play with the Mariners here in the U.S. As well as, I think, the Cincinnati Reds before he transitioned over to Japan and eventually set that record. But here in the States, he didn't do much, and so these cards are cheap. I have picked up numerous copies of his Topps Black rookie card that you see here, which is numbered to 57. I probably have 5 or 6 copies of this now, and I think I got every one for certainly under $10, and most of them under $5. So just a fun baseball edition there. It's been all baseball so far, but we're going to finally convert over to hockey here, and I have a buyback. And it is the great one, Wayne Gretzky, from the Pro Set Memories buyback program that took place in 2020. They reissued the original Pro Set hockey cards, stamped and numbered to just 5 copies. And this was in the inaugural Pro Set set in 1990, originally a card commemorating Wayne as the career points leader. And in this case, it is one of the 5 stamped buyback copies that came out, I guess, 30 years later. In 2020, and I have a few of these Gretzky's now. These are obviously, being numbered to 5. They are obscure, I get it, but they are not easy to find. And Gretzky got a ton of Pro Set cards during this era, even though they only made 3 Pro Set sets before the company went bankrupt. It was a time when he was just dominating the sport of hockey. So he has all kinds of leaders and career leaders and highlights and other subset cards. And so it will be a lifelong pursuit picking up some of those Gretzky buybacks. These next 2 were kind of stuck together, and I think it's because one card was included as a freebie. The card that I actually bought was this Bob Feller. I've shown other versions of this before. It is one of my favorite images from 2023 Panini Prizm, and this is the white sparkle variation. This is not numbered. However, the agreed print run for these is approximately 20 copies. So a very, very difficult parallel out of Prizm that you kind of have to know, and was able to find this Bob Feller. I have a few other versions of this, including the gold to 10, and I figured for just a couple bucks, this went really, really cheaply. I would add another version to my little Panini Prizm collection, and then the seller included this die-cut Jackie from Topps Finest, paying tribute to the year 1947, of course, his rookie year, and the year that he made history and integrated Major League Baseball. So cool little die cut there. Maybe that one will find a home in my Negro Leagues Z folio that I'm working on. We got our second Mookie of the video up next, and actually I'm going to take this one out of the top loader as well because it's not doing it justice. This is a 2022 Topps Chrome Gold Wave Refractor. And look at the effect on the background of this card. These have been around since 2017 in Topps Chrome, so coming up on 10-year run in another year or two here, consecutive of this parallel. Love these. I do prefer the regular gold to 50, but oftentimes you can get these exceedingly cheap, which I did here. And I'm a big fan of the image on the 2022 Mookie Betts. I love that Dodgers uniform and that really clear, bold red number 50 right in your face. So our second great Mookie card of this video. May not be the last. There's plenty of Betts in this cheese box. And this is cool. I mean, the odds of this are off the charts. So we've got our second straight 2022 Topps Chrome Gold Wave Refractor. Look at this. Mookie's former teammate and current Red Sox star, Rafael Devers. Of course, a lot of controversy in Boston this offseason, as there's going to be a little bit of competition now between the newly acquired Alex Bregman and Rafi here, who's the face of the franchise for the third base position. So we'll see how that plays out. But regardless of what happens in the field, I expect Devers to have another great offensive year, which he has basically done every year since he became a full-time player. And yeah, those two golds to 50 look pretty nice next to each other. I'm going to have to order some more one-touch magnetics for those bad boys. Let's keep moving here. We're only a little over 7 minutes. Got a quick hockey card, another one here. Nikita Kucherov, one of the best players in the NHL over the last decade. Multiple Stanley Cup championships. Routinely near the top of the points leaders year in and year out in the NHL. I believe he's won at least one, maybe two scoring titles. Is clutch in the playoffs, a really great leader, and somebody who I enjoy collecting. Even though hobby-wise, he's kind of on that second tier below Alex Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid. Production-wise, he is every bit as good as those guys, just doesn't quite get as much hobby love. So cheap team color match Kucherov card there. All right, this is a really fun one. I grew up in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, and one of the shows that I remember vividly watching with my family when I was a kid weekly was Unsolved Mysteries. And this was a great show featuring the host Robert Stack, who had really like a chiseled look and a great voice and would come out in like a trench coat and a suit in these mysterious locations and do the intro. And the show was all about aliens and disappearances and things that just can't be explained or were never solved. And it's great TV. In fact, I think Netflix has done a reboot of it in recent years, obviously without the great Robert Stack. But the reason I'm telling you this backstory, I ran across on ComC this card a few years ago, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Didn't know that he had a card, but this is from back in the 50s, from like a Hollywood or celebrity type set. I think it was called like Who's That Star? This is the Robert Stack. In fact, yeah, it is 1953 Topps Who's That Star? Robert Stack. So I got the card of, and I'm probably being unfair here. I'm sure he had a lengthy acting career and has a lot of other accolades to his name. But to me, he's the Unsolved Mysteries guy. And I just thought it was so cool to find this card on ComC. Got it for just $1 or $2. It's oversized, like those other early 50s Topps releases. It's got a fun back as well. Just so neat. Love the summary there. I'll pause it in case you want to take a look. But good rich ink on the back here. I love the blue cardstock and the yellow. This is just gorgeous. It's way off center. It's a card that nobody cares about, but it just, to me, it transports me back to my parents' living room on a Friday night after watching the nightly news, maybe eating a bowl of ice cream, and we've got Unsolved Mysteries on, and Robert Stack is just entertaining us for an hour of our evening. So I thought that was a cool card. Next up, got one from 2024 Topps, and I believe this is the image variation of the Angels team card. And what I like about this card, I can't take credit for this. It was a friend of mine on Instagram that initially turned me on to this. I think it was Jeff at JL Baseball Cards. Can't be 100% certain. It's been many months now, but I love that the back of this with the 23 stats shows Shohei across the board for the Angels. Whether it's, an offensive stat like batting average or home run, or a pitching stat like wins, there's only one name on the leaders here, which is just so cool. So I had to grab this image variation, which features like a team celebration here. Just a cool, cheap pickup. Probably not one that I would buy today, but I bought that over a year ago now, or around a year ago now, and it's a pretty neat one. Got another Mookie Betts, our third Mookie of today's video. This is from the World Baseball Classic that took place a couple of years ago. Of course, Mookie, a significant contributor for Team USA, who made it all the way to that epic final. And this is a cool parallel, like a silver foil, numbered to 99. Was dirt cheap. I love the batting image here and the great look at that USA jersey. So cool, cheap Mookie. Got a hockey card here. And this is one that's sort of a throwback to the early days of Upper Deck. It's a canvas Connor McDavid. This is actually an early career McDavid, but I love the multiple exposure technology that Upper Deck became known for way back in the late 80s in the hobby. Love that kind of throwback feel, and this is a sneaky good McDavid card, in my opinion. And we've got soccer up next. Sport we haven't touched on yet. Kylian Mbappe, probably my favorite player on the globe for about the past 5 or 6 years anyway. Ever since he burst onto the scene as an 18-year-old in the 2018 World Cup, he has been one of the most dominant forces on the pitch ever since. He has now taken his talents to Spain after playing for many, many years for Paris Saint-Germain in France. Love watching this guy, love collecting this guy. And I have a whole section of my Soccer Z folio dedicated to Mbappe. And this is a beautiful atomic numbered to 250 out of the Topps Merlin release that will go into that. Do another one here. And this is a hockey card in a one-touch. And it's a guy that we spoke about earlier in the video, Nikita Kucherov. This is his flagship Upper Deck card from years back, but it is the Midnight parallel. These are always numbered to 25, so kind of a sneaky good one. And I love the St. Patrick's Day sweater here on Kucherov. Very appropriate for this time of year. Did not do that on purpose. This card has probably been in the box for 2 to 3 years now, believe it or not, waiting to be pulled, but just so happens that we did it in March, so I love it. And then we'll finish off on this one today because this is a pretty cool card. And it's the vintage baseball realm that we're going to go into with a 53 Topps card for my slow set build featuring Dick Williams. Tons to love about this card. First of all, I love any 50s Brooklyn Dodgers card. I am slowly working on the 53 Topps baseball complete set, so this will help towards that as well. Let's take a look at the back here. Love these painted oversized beauties. They became my favorite vintage baseball set ever when I opened packs of the 1991 Archives reprint set as a kid. But I never owned an original 53 as a kid and didn't have any until I got back into collecting as an adult almost 20 years ago. And I've been slowly accumulating these ever since. And of course, Dick Williams went on to have a very legendary managerial career as well. So with apologies to hole-punched Mickey Mantle, we'll put Dick up in the background there. And that is going to conclude today's slightly longer than normal rummage. Definitely appreciate it if you stuck it out with me for almost 15 minutes here. We saw vintage, modern, serial numbered, shine, Robert Stack, and a bunch of other stuff. So hopefully something interested you. I'll be back soon, as you know, with some more content. Until then, I hope everybody keeps enjoying the hobby. Take care.